Hi guys, this is Chris of Wilson Wildlife Sculpture, and this video I'm working on this monumental egg. This is the good luck duck. It's a hatching mallard duckling, and it's for an arts festival called Shout in Charlotte, North Carolina. So I've got to finish it in a couple days. Actually, I hope to finish it in this video, so I'll show you some painting and finishing tricks. This is made of fiberglass. If you watched my previous videos, I showed how I added the fiberglass to the fiberglass egg, as well as use wood filler and use carving tools and shaping. The anatomy, I demonstrated that in other videos, and I appreciate your support and subscribing to my channel. Liking my videos and commenting on my work all helps, and I am getting close to 1,000 subscribers, so thanks a lot for your continued support. This is a labor of love. It's taken a lot of time, but I'm fortunate to be selected with my fiance. That's Yevgenia Kostin at Yevgenia Kostin Art, and she helped me paint and finish this, all the cracks she did. And actually, I also had some tips on how I, as the paint was setting up, how I engraved some of those, scratched some of the cracks in the wood after I primed it. So this egg has been sealed with primer, different kinds of primer, and I've used acrylics, waterproof acrylics and exterior paints to finish because it's for an outdoor festival. So I made it to stand the test of time. I just want to give some final details to it. So let me show you a couple things that are important. One is respirator. This is very important when you use any type of finish, okay, or you spray or airbrush. This is very important because you don't want to breathe in those harmful chemicals. So I've used Liquitex acrylics. I've had these paints for many years, and they work great. They are permanent, although fairly flexible. You can use water for cleanup, soap and water. They're water resistant, but I've had some of these tubes for 30, 40 years. They still work. But I went out and bought some new tubes, Burn Umber, and the Burn Umber heavy body acrylics. I buy Professional brand. They have more pigment, they last much longer, and they look much better than your studio or beginner grades. So you have 3 categories of paint, 1, 2, and 3, Professional being the best. So that's what I prefer using. I also have a couple different brands I mix. This is Deco Art Traditions. I like ones that are matte. I also like colors that are transparent. These are both, they say transparent on them. And each one is different. Some are more opaque than others. This actually is more opaque. It's actually the raw umber that is transparent. Burn umber is more opaque. So, and that's one thing I've already done. I've gone back with raw umber as well as raw sienna, and I've done wash coats. So I'm going to demonstrate rather than talk the whole time, so you can watch what wash coats are, as well as dry brushing techniques. So stay tuned and just enjoy. And again, I appreciate you subscribing to my channel and watching the entire video. I'll give more and more tips as we go along. So I like to paint in containers, and one of the things I'm going to start with is around the eye. I'm going to use some transparent raw sienna, straight from the tube, and I want to lighten it up a little bit around the iris next to the pupil. So this is a transparent color. I'm using a wash, the consistency of whole milk. I'll need my glasses for this detail work. Notice I'm actually very lazy here. I'm mixing the paint just in the cap of the paint here. I need more pigment than that. This is what you do when you're in a hurry. But I want it to look good, and that is already lightening the eye up, which is good. Just a little bit of wash of raw sienna. I dry brushed a lighter value of white to give a little bit of contrast. And I want that pupil to be black. But I just want to have a little bit lighter to have a little more personality to it. I'm going to add a little more, since it's wet, a little more pigment. And I'm going to wet blend that out into the wet area. I'm going to also do this is called the necessitating membrane. That is the duck's third eyelid. I want to highlight that a little bit. And then I just got to stand back and look at it. So I want to make it look good up close and afar. So I need to look with my glasses from afar. That's what happens when you get old like me. I've been doing this for 40 years. And yeah, now it has a nice little highlight around the eye. I'm using raw sienna. I'm actually going to put a little burnt sienna in that now too, to warm it up a little bit more. Again, I'm a little bit in a hurry here, so I'm just using the caps of the paint, but you know, whatever works. Palette is the professional way to do it, but I've done this for a long time, and this is my technique. And the burnt umber works really well with the yellow, and the eyes of the duck are very brown. I have black towards the eyelid, and then it gets lighter towards the pupil. That gives more contrast. This gives a little more warmth. Step back and look at it with the glasses. Oh yeah. I'm gonna do some tricks and put a wet finish over the bill and the head and the feet, because when the ducklings emerge from the egg, they are shiny looking. Okay, I prefer a matte look on my birds, but you know, I'm just playing around with the sheen of it, which is important. I got different kinds of finishes: clear, glaze, semi-gloss, and matte. So stay tuned to see what I use for different effects. So again, something this scale being monumental, you need to look at close and afar. So let's see how this is drying. It looks good. Okay, let's see what else I'm going to do here. Any other areas? I actually want to add some, I'm going to use a little bit bigger brush here. This is going to take forever. So I could do yellow over some of the highlights. I think I'm going to do that, and then I'll go back with raw sienna and brown. The yellow I'm going to use is this transparent yellow oxide, and again, I just want a wash coat. This doesn't have a very nice cap to use. So in making the wash coat, I just dip my brush in here. Okay, usually I use a palette knife, but this is what you do in a hurry. And I'm going to just use actually the bottom of the yogurt container. Okay, that's my palette for now, and that works. Because I'm going to use all this up, and I'm just going to put some yellow on here, make it soak in the grooves. I just start out with a little bit of paint so I can see how it looks. So these are called washes. Make sure you do it with clean water. I'm going to do a little bit more because that wasn't enough paint. Now I got paint on my finger. It helps to have a paper towel handy for mess ups when you get paint on yourself like that. Okay, let's work in a little different areas. Forehead, well, that's all wet. Cheeks. Okay, this paint goes very fast. Head looks good. Now I need some more paint again. It's a little windy here, so I'm not sure if I'll do the spraying here, but I'm liking the finish. I'm liking the transparent yellow. Okay, stand back and look at that from a distance. I think it's more yellow. It's deeper yellow, and I think it looks good. Nice. Yellow is a nice cheerful color. And I also softened my highlights, which I dry brushed. That's when you use very little paint on the brush and you skim over the high points of the texture. And I also dry brushed the shadow areas, a lot of darks to make it pop. So that's the shadows around the eye, the bill, and just to pop a little bit more. So yeah, I'm liking it. Let's look at it all the way from the front. Add a little more yellow through here. That's kind of funny. I used my finger there. I once had a collector ask if I ever use my finger when I paint, and I told him no, because it affects the sheen of my paint. However, this is going to be glossy, so it doesn't matter. But even some of the masterful artists like Leonardo da Vinci, use their finger in some of their painting. So it's a technique. But I don't normally do it, but I had a mistake there. Of course, I have a paper towel right in my hand. Okay, let's see some other areas. I feel like I'm just softening up the detail. It's a little harsh in some areas, so I'm going back with the yellow oxide, and it's transparent so you can see what's underneath, but I'm making the shadows less harsh and the highlights less harsh as well. So I see an area here. I'm not even painting with glasses because I'm just looking at the value. That's the relative lightness or darkness of the color. I already picked the intensity. That's transparent yellow, and it's a little darker than one of the yellows I have on there. So I've got different shades. That's the darks of the color. I also had different tints. That's the lights of the color, and that I added white for that, and then for the darks I added black as well as burnt umber. I was going to add ultramarine blue, which is a good dark, but it's pretty much just a burnt umber and Mars black. So let's see what else we're going to do here. Keep looking for more softness areas. I think it's much better. Address these areas. We need to. There's a couple areas there. Okay, you can see it from the angle there, and just trying to soften again some of the colors. I decided to put shadows on the egg itself and where the cracks are, so some parts are going like it's being broken apart, so it has more dimension. And I think that's looking good. I'm going to demonstrate some washes of paint over the entire egg now, so the egg is just less white. I already did raw umber and some raw sienna. I'm going to pick up this yellow and put it in a different little highlight up here. I need lots of water. It's going to run. Make sure you can see that. So I'm repeating different colors around different areas of the sculpture. That'll add to the compositional movement. First, it'll help if I have a bigger brush. Watercolor brush works well for washes. I'm going to gradually kind of fade it out. Just using the rest of this yellow in some areas. Little insect left a mark. I'm going to try some different colors here. Take the back of the egg. I'm going to add some raw umber. Raw sienna. Here is my model of my egg, and you can see that there's different colors in it. Not all perfect and white. So I did that with washes of color. So my egg's a little bit different, but I just wanted to have it be a little more natural from different areas. So just got to find the color. So raw sienna, there, raw umber, there it is. I'm going to use more raw umber now, so I'm going to actually use the whole cup. And I'm going to dip my palette knife in there. That way you don't, when you squeeze it out, you get paint on the, around the tube. And that's how I get my paints to last so long. I'm just careful how I handle my paints. Okay, so this time mixing with a palette knife. Make sure you dip another brush I was using, keep it wet. And I'm going to add water here. Make sure you use clean water. This isn't perfectly clean, but it is very, very close, so it'll work. It's okay if I dirty up just a little bit. You just don't want real muddy water. Okay, so I had a yellow highlight over there, and that's already, well, it's drying. It's not quite dry. I'm going to actually, with this dry brush, I'm just going to pick up some of those drips a little bit. Okay, I'll leave that highlight, and I'll add a raw umber wash over here. And again back here. Turning the egg, see if I need more. These are very subtle washes, so you may not see it that clear in the video. This brush is a little bit easier to use for washing. Just a watercolor brush. Soften those areas a little bit. Okay, yeah, I see that yellow hide over there. It looks good. There's a shadow here, but you can see it over here in the sun. And you can see the shadows here and some of the highlights cracking. Yellow is about dry. So I think I'm pretty happy with that. Now I just need to step back and look at it. Step back and look at all the details, see if I need to make anything more crisp or anything more soft. I thought it was too crisp before, so I was trying to soften it with wash coats. The way you make it more detailed is you use more dry brush and more darks and shadows and light for highlights. But I think the foot has nice highlights. I painted on there. I also painted highlights on the bill and on the pupil itself. Everywhere it has highlights, it has shadows. So I'm going to take a few pictures of that before I finish it with the clear protective layer, because once I do that, I want it to be finished. So it's good to just look at a piece and stand back at it, come back a little bit later and see how you like it after the paint dries. Acrylics dry a little bit darker, so that's one reason why I want to see them dry. Although it's sunny out here and it dried very well. The reason why the black has a little gloss to it is because I used a little more enamel polymer emulsion that's in the paint in this Mars black, and so it looked a little too crisp, and that's why I went back with yellow, and I could go back with more brown, but I would just want to go back and just contemplate the details a little bit more. So thanks a lot for watching and subscribing to my channel, Wilson Wildlife Sculpture. I appreciate your support. Have a great day.